So we had discussed so many topics in Unit 5, and now the next topic is the wave propagation in lossy dielectric. Okay, so we have seen the equations of uniform plane waves. Okay, we have seen the we have discussed the uniform plane waves, their existence in the free space. Okay, we have derived the conditions. Now we will see the wave propagation in lossy dielectrics. Okay, so if any medium is there, lossy dielectric means what? It is a medium in which an electromagnetic wave loses power as it propagates due to poor conduction. Okay, so in free space there was no such condition that if the wave is propagating that it will lose a power or anything else. Okay, but in the lossy dielectric, okay, it is a medium in which the electromagnetic wave, whenever it propagates through that medium, it will lose the power. Okay, it will there will be some power loss. That's why it is called lossy dielectric. Okay, so it is that medium in which the electromagnetic wave will lose power. Okay, so in other words we can say that lossy dielectric is what? It is a partially conducting medium, means it is not perfectly conducting, not perfectly insulating. Okay, it is a partially conducting medium, so it is an imperfect dielectric, or you can say imperfect conductor. Okay, so it is not a perfect dielectric because it allows some current to pass through it, and also it is not a perfect conductor because there is some losses. Okay, so that's why it is imperfect dielectric or imperfect conductor, that is called lossy dielectric. So this conductivity is not equal to 0. Okay, because the conductivity is not nil, it will conduct some up to some extent. And as a distinct from lossless dielectric, if in place of this lossy dielectric we would have the perfect or good dielectric in which sigma is 0. So if it is a perfect dielectric, then it will not allow any conductivity, and that's why sigma will be 0. So if we consider a linear isotropic homogeneous lossy dielectric medium that is charge free, means there is no charge in that dielectric medium. So charge free, that means volume charge density is what? 0. That's why rho v is 0. Okay. Now assuming and suppressing the time factor e to the power j omega t, the Maxwell equations can be written as this. Now del dot E equal to 0, we already know. Del dot H equal to 0. Del cross E equals to minus j omega mu Hs. Okay. So this has been written in complex term. Okay. And del cross H equals to sigma plus j omega E Es. Okay. So these are the four equations we have already seen in some of the derivations earlier. Okay. Because this del dot D equals to what? Rho v. What is D? D is epsilon 0. Epsilon into E. So epsilon will get multiplied by 0. So del dot E equal to 0. And del dot D equal to rho v actually. But rho v is what? 0. Okay. So del dot E equal to 0. Similarly, del dot H equal to 0. Del cross E equals to what? Minus del B upon del T. Okay. So that B can be written as mu H. And for that integration we can write this minus j. So we can express in this term. Okay, we can express in this way. Now taking the curl on both sides of equation 10.13. So this equation you can see del cross E equal to minus j omega Hs if we take the curl on both sides. So curl on both sides means del cross E equal to minus j omega and del j omega mu and del cross Hs. So this is the equation obtained after taking the curl of this equation del cross equal to minus j omega mu Hs. Now let us apply a vector identity. Okay. So if we apply a vector identity, so del cross A is equal to del into del dot A minus del square A. Okay, so this is a vector entity. So for this is for any vector A, if we see the double vector product, triple vector product actually it is. Del cross A can be written as del into del dot A and minus del of a square A. Okay. So this is a vector identity. Now if we apply this identity, in this equation, so del cross E will become what? In place of A we will put E in the identity, so it will be transformed into del dot E, okay, and minus del square E. Yes or no? Because in place of A we have this ES, so we can write it del into del dot ES and minus del square ES, okay, and that is equal to minus j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon ES. From where this term appeared? From here, okay, because del cross H value is sigma plus j omega epsilon ES, so that we will put here, okay. So if we put the value of del cross HS from equation 10.14, then we will get this, okay. Now del dot E is what? Del dot E is 0. You see this equation? Del dot E is 0 from this equation. Okay. So if we use this substitution here, then this term will be 0. Is not it? This term will be 0. So we have this del square ES equal to minus of j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon ES. Minus minus, both sides may be cancelled, okay, or it may be taken as this side. If we put these two terms at the same side, so it can be written as del 2 ES minus this whole term, okay, into ES. So in place of this j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon, we have substituted the gamma square, and this is called the propagation constant, okay. So it is containing all the characteristics or parameters of the medium, that is omega, mu, sigma, epsilon, okay. That's why it has all been taken with a one term, that is sigma square, okay. So this one is your sigma square and ES, and then equal to 0, where this sigma square equal to j omega epsilon gamma square equal to j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon, and this gamma is called the propagation constant of the medium, okay. It is measured in meters. So by similar procedure it can be shown that for just we derive for E, similarly we can write for H also, because there is no difference. In place of E simply we have to substitute H. So this del 2 ES minus gamma square ES equal to 0. So in this case, if we replace this E with H, so we will have the another relation for magnetic field also. So sig delta square HS minus this gamma square HS equal to 0. By similar process we can derive this. So again here gamma equal to this value, and that gamma is defined as the propagation constant of the medium, okay. Now these equations, this del 2 ES minus gamma square ES equal to 0, 10.17, and del 2 HS minus gamma square HS equal to 0. Both equations, one in the electric field, another in magnetic field, okay. Both are called the Helmholtz equations or simply vector wave equations, okay. So in Cartesian coordinates, the equation 10.7 is equivalent to 3 scalar wave equations, one for each component of E along Ex, Ey and Ez, okay. So what I am telling you, okay, if we want to represent this 10.17 equation del 2 ES minus gamma square ES equal to 0 in the Cartesian system, so for x coordinate we can write the equation del 2 Ex minus gamma square Ex equal to 0. For Y also, along Y we can write, and along Z also we can write similarly. So these are the Helmholtz equations, or simply the vector wave equations. Okay, so it can be E and H can be expanded along the X, Y and Z in the Cartesian system if we want. So the gamma is a complex quantity. Okay, gamma is what? It is a complex quantity, because we can see here the gamma square equal to j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon, and if we want to calculate gamma, then it will be root over of j mu omega mu and sigma plus j omega epsilon. Okay, so obviously j is there, so it is a complex quantity, and any complex vector or quantity can be written as, you might have studied earlier that any complex quantity can be written in the form of real and imaginary component. Okay, so previously you used to write, or we used to write z equals to, if z is a complex quantity in xy plane, then what we can write, z equals to x plus iy. So in the same way here if gamma is a complex quantity, so gamma can be represented as the sum of real and imaginary component. So it is alpha plus j beta, where alpha is real term and beta is what? It is an imaginary term. So we can obtain this alpha and beta from equations. Okay, which equations? This gamma square equal to j omega mu sigma plus j omega epsilon. One equation is this, and another equation is gamma equal to alpha plus j beta. If we calculate both equations, if we separate the real and imaginary parts, okay, then we will get this. Okay, then we will get this. So minus of real omega square equal to what? Beta square minus alpha square, and that can be written as omega square mu epsilon. And if we talk of the magnitude of gamma square, that can be written as beta square plus alpha square. How we have written this? Because if you will you have some idea of the complex numbers, then you can calculate or separate the real and imaginary part from this equation. Okay, so from these two equations we can obtain alpha equal to omega root over of mu epsilon upon 2, and then again inside the root over of 1 plus sigma upon omega epsilon square minus 1, and similarly we can get the beta. Only the difference between alpha and beta is that here it is minus 1 and here it is plus 1. Okay, so it is looking very complex, but if you solve it, if you know how to solve the complex numbers, okay, or complex equations, or how we separate the real and imaginary part, this alpha and beta, if you are able to separate, then you will get these results. Okay, because this alpha and beta has been derived from these equations only. Now if we move towards the plane waves in lossless dielectric, okay, previously we have discussed lossy dielectric, now it is lossless dielectric. So in lossless dielectric, what happens, that sigma is very much lesser than omega epsilon. Okay, means it is lossless, so it is something, you can say that it is a perfect dielectric, so it will not allow the conductivity. Okay, so that's why conductivity is near to zero. Now it is not a perfect dielectric, so it is not perfectly zero, but it is close to zero or equivalent to zero, since it is a lossless dielectric. Okay, then epsilon can be written as epsilon mu epsilon not epsilon r, because the permittivity is always equal to absolute permittivity multiplied by the relative permittivity, and this relative permittivity will be the relative permittivity of this lossless dielectric. Again, mu permeability can also be written as mu 0 mu r. Okay, so if we substitute these values in equation 10.23 and 10.24, what is this equation? This is the equation of alpha and beta. Okay, So the real and imaginary term, we have got alpha equal to this and beta equal to this. So if we substitute those conditions of the lossless dielectric in these two equations, then we have this alpha equal to 0, beta equal to omega root over mu epsilon, okay, and u equals to omega upon beta, that you already know, the velocity, okay. So that can be written as 1 upon root over mu epsilon, and lambda is the wavelength, so lambda equal to 2 pi upon beta, okay, and eta can be defined as root over of mu upon epsilon. Since E and H are in time phase with each other, so that's why the angle is 0, okay. So in this way we can define all these quantities. Now if we talk of the plane waves in free space, okay, so plane waves in free space means what? We have already discussed these things, but here through that equation we want to derive the same condition, okay. So plane waves in free space means there is no dielectric medium, there is only a free space, okay. So for free space we already know that in free space the conductivity is 0 because there is no medium, okay, to conduct. So conductivity is 0, that's why sigma is 0. Epsilon equal to epsilon 0 because there is no medium, so there is no relative permittivity. Otherwise we would have written epsilon equal to epsilon 0 epsilon r, but epsilon r is not present, okay. This mu equals to mu 0 mu r, but mu r is not present in free space, so we have this absolute permittivity and absolute permeability in the free space. Now here alpha equal to 0, so beta equal to how much? Omega root over of mu epsilon. So in place of mu we have mu 0 and in place of epsilon we have epsilon 0. That will be equal to omega upon c. C is the speed of light. These things we have already discussed, okay. U equals to 1 upon root over of mu 0 epsilon 0, and that is equal to c, and lambda equal to 2 pi by beta. Lambda is the wavelength, okay. So c is the speed of light in vacuum, and that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So the electromagnetic wave travels in free space at the speed of light, okay. So light is the manifestation of the electromagnetic wave. So light is characteristically what? Electromagnetic. If we talk of the light rays, we sometimes say the electromagnetic rays. Why? Because the speed and the nature of the light waves are similar to the electromagnetic wave, okay. And here eta equals to eta 0. Eta 0 means intrinsic impedance of free space, okay. Because if conductivity is there, if wavelength is there, if wave is there, so obviously one impedance will also be there, okay. So that is called the intrinsic impedance, okay, eta. And this eta equal to eta 0 is the special value we consider for the free space. So this we have already derived, I think. So eta 0 equal to root over of mu 0 upon epsilon 0, and that is equal to 120 pi. And if you will put the value of pi, okay, so you will get this value 377 ohm, okay. So these are the topics which are very important in waves, and a lot of numericals are also based on this, okay. So all these conditions you need to derive also, and remember also for the further derivations, okay. That would be beneficial if you will do this. It will help you a lot in solving the numericals also, okay. Because a lot of numericals are based on this. In electromagnetic wave, this the numericals based on this small relations like beta, this velocity, this intrinsic impedance, everything is asked, okay. So you need to practice it.